Hello, hello, everybody. Oh my God, I love that video. It's somewhat difficult, painful because the topic is tough, but I think that is a powerful video from Unique Blessings, the organization that powers my podcast, as I like to say, powered by Unique Blessings, nonprofit organization. So, hey, everybody, it's Sunday, May 16th. It's 7 o'clock, and I am here like I am every Sunday to talk about domestic violence awareness and making sure there is some action. And today is really about action for you to make sure you have the understanding that you need about the signs of domestic violence, the signs of abuse, the reds, the greens, the yellows, the greens we like, but the yellows and the reds we have to pay more attention to so that we can be more prepared and more aware. So I'm Angelique. I am the founder, owner, whatever you want to call me, of Ladder Masters Inspirational Leadership Group, better known as Ladder Masters. And I hold this weekly domestic violence awareness podcast because it is in me to share this message. It is deep, deep in my belly, and I have to get it out. And I have to make sure that, as much as possible, other women, other men, whoever it may be, teenagers even, don't experience what I went through because, my God, if I could take it back. Now, I will say that there are some things that came out of it that have made me stronger, more aware, more wise. And obviously, this message in me is a result of that I can help and provide this insight because of that experience. But if I could save just one, I always say that if I could save just one, then I have done my job. So, all right. I am Angelique Pierce. I am a survivor of domestic violence. I am an advocate of freedom and truth, and I am here to talk to you about something that people tend to not talk about, which is domestic violence, which is abuse, which is the signs of abuse. I've got to talk about those things. I am here to speak, and I only speak for three reasons. I say it every time. I speak for three reasons, and if I am not talking for one of these three reasons, I give you permission to tell me to shut my mouth. So I am here to bring awareness. I am here to break down facades, and I am here to build conquerors. That's what I'm here to do. That's what I will do every single Sunday. Before I go any further, let me do a quick prayer because I want to make sure that we always start in the right mindset, that we are focused on what means the most to us, which is our spiritual walk is a huge piece of it, and our inner person. So, Father, we just come before you, thanking you for this day, thanking you for this moment, thanking you for this time that we have together, God. We know that victims and survivors of domestic violence have been through a ton. Things that many people will never, and I pray never, do experience or have to live through. We have survived through some things, baby. We have survived through some things. So, God, I just ask you that you just bring your presence, you bring your spirit, you fill this space, you guide my words, and I speak directly right now to any woman, man, teenager, child in a domestic violence situation, God. I just ask you that you give them the strength, you give them the courage. It's the courage to get out and the strength to stay out. And I thank you for all these things. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. All right, so let me keep going. I've got lots of notes because I got a lot to say. Y'all know I prepare, right? I'm a preparer. I'm a Virgo. That's my thing. So I get ready every Sunday for you. I run this thing through. I don't take it lightly. I do my own research. I may know from experience, but there's nothing wrong with studying. So I always make sure I read, I research. I'm always improving what's going on in this brain of mine. All right, so let me say a few acknowledgments because I have to, because I love these people and these organizations. My first acknowledgement is to the Unique Blessings organization. As I said earlier, my podcast is powered by Unique Blessings. So it's the UB Podcast Network. I am one of a few podcasters, and I just want to thank that organization, which I am a part of, some awesome people, and specifically my girl, Miss Queen Unique, Chantel Evans, who is an awesome, powerful woman with so much in her that she probably just can't even get it all out. So thank you to Unique Blessings and to Chantel. Also, thank you to Mecklenburg County Community Support Services, which is in Charlotte, North Carolina, one of the largest counties in North Carolina. And also to Safe Alliance, which does a lot to help victims and survivors of domestic violence. And those two organizations came together to create the Domestic Violence Speakers Bureau, which I am a part of. So thank you, Mecklenburg County Community Support Services. Thank you to Safe Alliance. I appreciate you so much. All right. So I would also like to say one specific thing. This episode is inspired by a man who I met years ago, exactly when I met Chantel Evans, Queen Unique. His name is Alex Payune, and Alex was the person who actually really first taught me about red, yellow, and green flags. So, Alex, if you ever get a chance to hear this episode, I want to say thank you to you because it was in your teen dating violence class that I learned about all of this. And so now I'm sharing it. I'm doing what the Domestic Violence Speakers Bureau was designed to do. All right, so I'm gonna keep going because I got a lot to say. All right, today's episode is titled Recognize the Signs, the green, the yellow, and the red flags. We have got to be able to recognize them, or we will get caught up not just once, two, three more times. We have got to be able to recognize these signs of coming abuse because the coming abuse is what will lead to the full out domestic violence. All right. So if you remember in my episode last week, I had a lady on my show. Her name was Midori Davidson. And as she went through her story, I was raising up these flags, right? I was raising them up. And well, actually, it was all the ones she showed were really like red flags. So I was raising up the flags, and I have those with me today. So this episode builds on the last episode. See, I got a plan. I got a strategy for what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, y'all. All right. So this week we're going to dig deep into those flags. Last week it was just we were just kind of touching it. This week we're going to dig deep into the flags, and it's going to be interactive. So if you are on here watching, I absolutely expect you to drop some comments. As a matter of fact, let me make sure my comments are pulled up so I can see what y'all are saying to me. But here's the thing. As we all progress into relationships, right, we start to think, is this thing real? Like, does this have potential? We all think that. I wonder if this will go somewhere. I wonder if this might be something. We all do that, don't we? So the question is, how do we know? How do you know if you are in a good or otherwise what we call healthy relationship? How do you know? How can you tell? How do you know if you should continue in what you're doing, especially because we all have them, especially if some issues arise? How do you know? What do you look for in another person? Or should I say, what do you look out for in another person? That's important. How do you know if something is a real concern or it's just maybe a personality trait that's kind of a quirky sort of a thing that the other person has? How do you know? How do you know? We're going to talk about a lot of that today because it's all very important. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to define these flags, right? We all talk about flags and what do they mean? But as you go through the dating process, as we all do, I still date right now. Can you believe it? Me? I date right now, right? But as you date, some flags are going to appear. They always do. And these flags are what help you define. You can kind of put a definition on them. You can categorize them. You can really maybe even rate them to say, well, how bad is that? Or is that okay? Or, what sense does that make? All of these things matter. Your ability to define, recognize, categorize, whatever word you want to use, your ability to do that can make a huge difference in whether or not you get down the line into a situation of full out domestic abuse, domestic violence, which is exactly what I am trying to help you avoid ever doing. Ever doing. All right. So now listen, being able to do that is important because you cannot overlook these things. You cannot overlook the yellow flags because the yellow flag should be the one I got on yellow today. That's funny. The yellow flags, in fact, are the things that should make you go, hold up, or wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute, right? They're the ones that should really make you slow down, make you pause and really think. And you have to stop and say, well, I think that's a yellow flag. That's kind of a caution. Or is it actually a deal breaker? You have to be able to know which one it actually is. All right. So red, yellow, green, what does that sound like? Traffic light, right? Sounds just like a traffic light. And just like traffic signals, they are designed to help you know how you should or should not proceed in a relationship, just like a traffic light. Should I go because it's green? It's yellow. Caution. I didn't really like that, what I saw. Let me watch a little bit more to see if that's more than it seemed the first time, or if it's a full out red, which in a traffic light, it doesn't mean, well, let me roll through. It means stop. It means full stop. That's what red means. And that is what we all have to get better at doing, is stopping, not just continue to roll because it feels good and I'm going to miss his hugs, or, well, who's going to call me at night now? Or so what? If you see something and it doesn't sit right with you, you need to pay attention. And some things are flat out deal breakers and you need to stop, period. All right. So these traffic signals, they help you decide if you should date someone. They help you determine if the relationship is healthy. That's what we're looking for. Healthy. They help you see what might make a relationship work and what might make it difficult to even continue. Green flags, healthy behaviors. Green, healthy behaviors. Then there's yellow, unhealthy behaviors. Hope you can see that. Unhealthy behaviors. And then finally, your reds, that's your abusive behaviors. Flat out, no question. When I say run, run like the freaking wind. That's what I mean. Run. All right. So important. I want to say this. Flags are not events. All right. They are patterns of behavior. So it's the kind of thing, like if somebody straight up walks up to you and punch you in your face, okay, that's a flag. That's a red flag. You don't need a pattern for that. Bounce, right? When we're talking about these yellows and these concerns and questions that you have, they are not events. They're patterns. You have got to establish, is that a pattern? Is that like, are we arguing a lot? Is he constantly saying this or that? Or she acting this way or that way? It's a pattern. And you have to watch for patterns. But let me say something about patterns. Let me ask you a question. If you go on a date and it's a really good one, like, I mean, you were like, ooh, like this one is, I like him. If you go on a date and it's a really nice date and it's great, that's great, right? But it's not a pattern. It's not a pattern. So you can't say my first date was amazing, so it's an absolute go for the rest of the relationship. You cannot. And the question I want to ask you is, what do you need? What do you need in order to see a pattern? What do you need? Type it in the comments if you're here. I see there's one person left right now. I keep seeing it fluctuate between 5 and 6 and 1, but what do you need in order to even see a pattern? What do you need? You need time. That's what you need. You need time. And that's the thing. The one thing abusers can't stand is time, because what they're offering is all a facade. It's all a facade. And if you make them wait, if you slow down the dating process, you'll have time to see the patterns, to see the flags, to find out exactly what they've been hiding that they don't want you to see, because they know they cannot, believe me, I found this out. They know they cannot hide their mess, their abuse, their disgusting traits for very long. So it's time. Time is what you need to see the patterns. But what do? We typically rush into relationships, right? We're so excited because it feels so good, and the way he's treating us and the way she's loving on us or whatever it may be. We often don't give it time. We move too fast. You give me a second, I'm going to jump right into it. So let's talk about it, each one. And then later on, I've got some questions that I want you to participate. Green. Let's talk about these green flags first. So just like the traffic signals, they tell you what to do. They give you a signal on what to do and how to behave and how to proceed. So green, we all know green means what? Go. We learned that as a kid. Green means go. And so green flags mean that you can begin or you can continue in a relationship because you're comfortable being around that person. You have similar interests and concerns, and you really have similar goals, whatever it may be. The way the other person handles difficult situations, right? The way they're handling them, it seems to be, I'd say, level-headed, because I'm not a hothead. So the way the other person is handling the situations, difficult things arise, they're doing it in a level-headed manner. And sometimes if you're Christian, you're thinking, is their response in harmony with the gospel truth, right? If you're a Christian, you're thinking that, or even whatever religion, is their response in harmony with what you believe? That's important. Other things include the other person has desire. They have a desire to do what's right, to improve themselves, to improve your relationship, to put you first, even. These are all things to ensure your happiness, to treat you fairly, things that seem like normal behaviors because they should be normal. Those are your green flags, right? Um, and I think, you know what I learned when I was preparing for this? I thought to myself, what is the problem? Like, what do people have a hard time with when it comes down to the yellow and the red flags? What they have a hard time with is, what does that sound like? Like, people speak in generalities, right? At the 30,000 foot. Let's bring it down to the 10 and 5,000 foot, maybe even 3,000 foot. What does it look and sound like when there's a green flag? Well, let me give you some examples. These things sound simple. They sound like everyday things, but when you get to the yellow flags and the red flags, they're not everyday things. But this is what it's like. I have some examples written here. You have the option of privacy. Oh, that sounds simple. Like, privacy, like I go use the bathroom and close the door. Yeah. I use my phone and take a phone call, and he doesn't follow me to find out or hunt me down to find out who I'm talking to. Yeah. That's a green flag. That's good. You have the option of privacy. For example, your partner, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend is okay if you want to hold a phone call in a separate room and they're not hunting you down. Who is that? Let me see the phone. Give me your phone. No. When we say healthy, you have the option of privacy. If you want to take the call right next to them, you take it. Hey, baby, hold on one second. Let me finish this call, right? You have the option. Secondly, you and your partner enjoy activities apart from each other. Why is that healthy? Because there's no reason that you should have to be up under somebody 24 hours, 7 days a week, while they have to keep their eyes on you and know what you're doing every moment of the day. I'm going to talk about that later in the yellow and the red flags. But healthy is you and your partner, you enjoy activities apart from each other. Baby, go have fun. Have a good time with your friends. See you when you get back. Just call me when you're on your way so I can make sure I turn the alarm off or whatever, right? Simple stuff. Another one, you speak your mind and you share your opinions without fearing their reaction. Now that sounds like, well, yeah, I mean, that's normal everyday stuff, right? But you wait till I get to those yellow and those red flags. You'll see what I mean. Because in a healthy relationship, sure, you express your opinion, you share your thoughts, and they actually listen. They're not talking over you. They're not shutting you down. Your heart isn't pounding, thinking, if I bring this up to him or her, what are they going to say? Like, I'm not even going to say anything. Just forget it because I know what's going to happen. If you're thinking like that, if you're thinking, I'm scared to bring up a topic to the person that's the intimate partner in my life, then we're not at green flags anymore. We're at yellows and potentially red, depending on what's going on. All right. I'm going to give you an interesting one that maybe you wouldn't have thought I would have said tonight, but I'm going to say it, and it pushes the envelope just a little bit. Your partner, again, we're on green flags, healthy behaviors in a relationship. This is a little more intense. Your partner, boyfriend, spouse, girlfriend, whatever, abides by your sexual boundary of, let me give you one, of not wanting to watch pornography for arousal, of not wanting anal sex, of whatever it is, your partner abides by that boundary. That is healthy. When you get to yellow flags and red flags, there's a such thing called sexual abuse, even in marriage, that occurs. That's not healthy. So we talked about green flags. Look, we got those down, right? We know what those are. Green flags, we got it. Simple as day. That's the good stuff. That's the healthy stuff. We need to move forward because there's other things called yellow flags. Let's get into that. Those are a little more obscure. They get people off guard. They caught me off guard. I missed some of them, overlooked them, didn't want to really acknowledge them, didn't even understand that they were a flag. So let's talk about them. Yellow flags mean slow down. You've seen something that is making you or should make you proceed with caution. This is important. Now, there's a range when it comes to yellow flags. I've even been a person that said maybe that yellow was a little more pink toward the red, or people say maybe that yellow was a little bit more orange toward the red. There's like a little bit of a range there that makes it difficult. If you're listening, throw me some comments. You know what I'm talking about. Throw me some comments. This one's interactive. So it could be anything from having clear, strong differences in your personality traits, in your interests, in your preferences. It can be communication struggles. I've been through that and didn't realize I was entering the yellow flag zone. Regular, frequent arguments when they talk over you and don't even want to hear what you have to say almost. Been through that. Know exactly what that's like. How about this one? Now, people don't see this as a flag, but you should, because I should have specifically, me, should have specifically seen this one. They love to talk about themselves, boast about themselves, dominate the conversation. Why does that matter, Angelique? Why is that a yellow flag? Because that is a sign of self-centeredness. And on the bad end, narcissism. You don't want to be in love with a narcissist. Everything you thought love was, they don't think that's what it is. Love isn't even really defined anywhere near you would define it. All right. So let's keep going. Intense reactions. I experience this a lot. Intense reactions that are not appropriate for the circumstances. I'll be extreme on this one. I broke your pencil. Now, I'm a scale of 1 to 10 person. I'm always like, how sick are you? Scale of 1 to 10. Is it a 10? You're like, you're about to die. That's me. Scale of 1 to 10. I broke your pencil. That's like a 1, a 0 almost. Okay, I broke your pencil. In his mind, or people like that, it's a 9, it's an 8, it's a blow up. You broke my pencil? You broke my pencil. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I didn't know that pencil was that important to you. I didn't know that was your favorite pencil. I'm sorry, right? You're, oh my God, like my bad. Intense reactions to things that don't even make sense. They're not even appropriate for the situation or the circumstances. Pay attention to that. I have been there. Oh my God, I've been there. Woo. All right. Trying to control who you hang out with, demanding to know where you are. All these things. Those are yellows. They turn into reds, but those are yellows. Constantly demanding your attention by phone calls or unanswered or unannounced visits. Let me tell you about a story with me. I remember because I started dating my ex in 2010. It was February of 2010. And somewhere during that year, I got a promotion at my job. Like I got to level up. It was a whole new thing, and I was proud and I was nervous as heck, but I had a great new job. And I remember I started the job and I was maybe 2 days into it. So I'm at my new desk. It's a bigger cubicle. I think I'm important. I'm running the show, but I got so much to learn. I had so much to learn, and I'm like stressed. I'm reading things. I'm trying to learn. I'm studying. People are stopping by and asking me questions. My new employees are asking me questions I didn't even know the answer to, but I was so into it. I was so excited. My phone keeps ringing from my cell phone to my desk phone, from my desk phone to my cell phone. And I'm looking like, I just can't talk to him right now. Like I'm busy, like I just can't. So I'm ignoring the calls on purpose because I have so much to learn and everybody's watching me, right? I want to do a great job at my new job. So I wait till like 2 o'clock, 2:30 to call back. And when I call back, it was this. Uh, you can't tell me that you didn't have 2 minutes to check on the man that you say you love. Uh-huh. That's what it sounds like. I'm saying it because sometimes we have to hear what it sounds like. The sound of a yellow flag. You can't tell me that you didn't have 2 minutes to pick up the phone and call the man that you love. Do you see the stuff that's intertwined in that statement? If you loved me, you would have responded. If you loved me, you would have called me. 2 minutes. You know what? If I had my head on straight that day, you know what I would have said? I would have said, what are you, 5 years old? You need 2 minutes? So if it was just 2 minutes it must not be that important. What are you, 5? What are you, 3? You're not a kid. You're all right. I got a new job. Why don't you wait till I get off work to get your 2 minutes? Because you know I got a new job. If I had my head on straight, I would have caught on to that was dominating my time, demanding my attention, ignoring all else that was important to me, and trying to make himself the absolute most important center of my life. I didn't catch that because nobody told me. I wasn't aware. I didn't have a definition of a yellow flag. So I'm trying to do everything I can to make sure others understand these simple things that later become patterns. And you better believe that became a pattern. Calling, texting, always expecting a response. And so I got to a point where I thought I better respond just so we didn't have a difficult moment, just so we didn't argue. No more, never again. If I don't want to answer my daggone phone, I'm not answering it. If I'm tired, I ain't answering it. Recognize the yellow flags. We have to. All right. Constantly demanding your attention, as I mentioned. Moving too fast. Let's talk about that. Let me tell you my timeline. You ready? Listen to this. I'm mad at myself when I think back about it. All right. I met my ex in February of 2010. Got that timeline? Okay. That's the starting point. February 2010. We dated, going back and forth between each other's places, staying for this many days over here, staying for that many days over there. By the time November 2010 rolled around, he moved into my house. Oh, you count those months. That ain't too many months, is it? And you know what else? I kept it kind of a secret. I should have known right there. I didn't really want everybody to know. So from February to November, he moved into my place with the excuse of we all had that, we together so much. We spend so much time together, Well, why don't we just live together? We can save money, right? Why pay your rent and my mortgage? We could just live together. Mm-mm. What did I tell you an abuser can't stand? Hear me, people. Abusers can't stand time. They need it to move along fast. They need to get you in one space with them so they can control and watch and demand and dominate everything that's going on in your life. Okay. Met him February 2010. He moved in my house November 2010. Way too fast. Engaged by May 2011. Engaged by May 2011. I don't know how much you think you know about a person by May 2011, which would have put us about a year and 3 months together. But we were engaged by May 2011. 2 wedding ceremonies, 2 of them, right? If I can explain that one, that's a whole nother story about the 2 ceremonies. But we had a small wedding ceremony in October 2011. And then a big party, which some of y'all watching probably came. A big party. Oh, was phenomenal. Let me tell y'all something. That wedding was awesome in June of 2012. Pregnant by July of 2012. So pregnant by then. Quick, keep moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. Lots of arguing during that time. Y'all hear me? Lots of arguing. Stuff like it didn't even make sense. Like I never argued so much in my entire damn life. Never. And I talked about spiritual abuse before too. I talked about that. And one of the things that was happening during those arguments was he was doing a good job of being like, well, maybe this isn't right. God, maybe God is punishing us, right? But he was actually the person starting the arguments. Are you listening to me? He was purposely triggering the arguments so that we can have this conflict, and I would be walking on eggshells with him, around him, and then he would say God was punishing us. Do you hear what I'm telling you? Are you listening to me? This stuff is sick. Sick. All right. Play church and pimp God. Yes, it does happen. All right. So lots of arguing, lots of verbal abuse, lots of financial abuse, lots. But I had gotten married to him, right? He was my husband at that point. I mean, you just don't give up on a marriage, right? Right? All right. First time he hit me, put his hands on me, was in early 2015. My baby was about 2. Right in front of her, it happened. Yes, it did. Yep. So you don't remember. Thank God. But it did. All right. So that's your yellow flags. We went through green. Those are this is good. It feels good. It's working. He's adjusting. I'm adjusting. We like what we like. It's not that we don't, not like we like everything the same, but this is working. Yellow is like, hold up. No, hold up. That's what I say. Hold up. Wait a minute. Now let's talk about those red flags. Let's talk about them. And in a second, I'm going to quiz y'all a little bit. I want you to join in and I want you to type in which flags are which. So I'm giving you the foundation so you're ready for later. All right. Red flags, I said it. They mean, listen, don't tell me anything else. They mean full stop. Full stop. Don't continue. Don't roll through the stop sign. They mean stop because they're that bad. and you have to acknowledge them. Because if you don't, if you already passed by the yellows that should have given you the signal and you're at the red, you better run. You better run. Okay. Belittling you, mocking you, ridiculing you. I've been through all of it. Putting you down. As amazing of a person as I like to think I am, as my mama liked to say I am, I was belittled. I was ridiculed. I was put down. I was the smartest dumb chick he had ever met. That chick wasn't the word. She could fill in what the word was. I was the smartest dumb bee he had ever met. His his mouth to my ear. Mm-hmm. Okay. Violent behavior. Can I say this? Violent behavior of any kind. It doesn't have to be a broken nose. It's aggression. It's throwing things across the room. It's breaking, smashing things. It's violent behavior of any kind is not okay. Let me tell y'all something. People don't know what red flags look like. They don't know what yellow flags look like. I'm on here to tell you what they look and sound like. So I'm going to give you a sound bite. You ready? This is a real sound bite. No, I mean it. It's real. So what? Because we had an argument and I did that to you, you gonna make that big? I did not hit you. I did not touch you. I ifed at you. Okay, what did I just say a red flag is? Violent behavior of any kind. But you will notice the diminishing words that follow. So what? I didn't hit you. I didn't touch you. I just ifed at you. Whatever that means. I know what it means. It means you need to run. I should have ran. That's what it means. I should have ran long before that. I should have ran back at the 2-year-old when my baby was 2 and he put his hands on me the first time. I should have ran the first time he called me a female dog out my name. I should have ran. I could think of all the things. God, I could think of, I could think of all the things now looking back when I didn't have a definition for what was happening to me. Nobody talked to me about red and yellow and green flags. You better believe I'm going to tell y'all. You better believe I'm going to tell my baby. I'm going to preach it from the freaking mountaintops because people need to understand what these things are. They're real. They affect your life. They change your whole world. My whole world was changed because I didn't know, because I didn't understand. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure people understand, to make sure you understand. All right. So, raging out of control with you, raging out of control in front of you, but they maintain their composure. They're the sweetest thing ever in front of everybody else. Oh, hey, good to see you. Oh, so good to see you. And behind closed doors, it's like, shut up. That stuff. Raging crazy around you, but perfectly composed and charismatic around everybody else. Y'all better be listening to me. This stuff is real and it happens. Raging around you, but perfectly composed around other people. I have seen it. I have seen it happen at church. I have seen it happen at restaurants. I've seen it happen in front of my family. And then behind closed doors, it's just torture. Torture. All right. So I'm gonna say, I told y'all, I need you to understand what it not just looks like, but what it sounds like. Manipulation, gaslighting. Let me read one more to you. You ready? Make sure you're listening. I can talk to you how I want to. I can curse. I can curse. I curse. I can say she's acting stupid. Go ahead. Claim abuse. Claim abuse. Everything ain't abuse, fool. I didn't call you no names. I said fool and stupid. I can say that. Real words. Real words. And those aren't the worst words. I'm going slightly PG-13 on this show. But I want you to hear what it sounds like. You get confused. You think, well, he didn't say you. He didn't flat out say be. You're like looking for these hardcore. He didn't black my eye. Isn't that what they showed on that movie? What's Love Got to Do with it? Well, unless my eye is black or my collarbone is broken or my arm is broken or he choked me out, as we like to say. I can't stand that phrase, choke me out. But unless he did that, it's not really abuse, right? Let me tell you something. The physical is often what comes later. It's all these other things that are happening along the way that are your flags. They are your traffic light. They are your slow down, stop, or full stop. They're telling you, get away from this person. They are no good for you. All right, I'm going to keep going. Here's one that people don't pay attention to: addictions. Did you hear what I just said? Addictions. They are red flags. And I don't just mean cocaine or heroin, or they say heroin. I don't just mean those things. I also mean sexual addictions. Uh-huh. That's a real thing. Addictions are a big deal. Gambling, pornography, addictions are also red flags. Please pay attention. It ain't just, oh, he freaky. He's so such a freak. Sometimes there's a problem. And I promise you, it will spill over into my life. I know for myself. I know that for myself. All right. I've spelled it out for you. If you haven't commented yet, which I see that you guys have not, I want you to get ready to comment. So I'm going to show some live comments when you do. So now this is me trying to rhyme. You tell me red, yellow, green. You tell me red, yellow, green. You ready? I'm going to give you a scenario. I'm going to give you a scenario. You tell me if it's a red flag, a green flag, or my flags. Let's see. Right here. You tell me which one. You ready? Here's a scenario. It's like playing spades, right? I've got my cards right here. Your partner calls you a pronoun or a nickname. Let's just say a nickname. Your partner calls you a nickname that you do not like, but they stop using it the moment you ask them to. Is that a red flag, green flag, yellow flag? Which one? You guys tell me. Type in the chat, type in the comments. Red flag, green flag, yellow flag. Your partner calls you a nickname that you don't like, but they stop using that nickname the moment you tell them to stop. What we got? What we got? Come on, y'all. I know what I think. What we got? All right. I'm just going to say something here. I'm going with green. Let me tell you why. Because they called you a nickname that you didn't like. You expressed your boundary of, I don't like that. Please don't call me that again. And they stopped. Remember what I said about patterns. When you talk about flags, it's it's typically not a single incident. It's not a one event. It's a pattern. So if the pattern would have been to call you that name again and again, although you've expressed that that's not what you want them to call you, then we're talking flags. But the person stopped the minute you establish your boundary. That's a good thing. That's a healthy thing in a relationship. Okay? All right. So let's keep going. During an argument, now some of these things are from my own experience, so I'm just reading some of them. During an argument, you make a move toward the door to leave the room, but your partner, boyfriend, spouse, fiance blocks the door and won't let you leave. During an argument, you make a move toward the door to leave the room, but your partner, boyfriend, spouse, fiance, whatever, blocks the doorway and won't let you leave the room. What do we got here? Red, yellow, green. Red, yellow, green flags. Which one? Someone blocks a door so that you can't leave. What do you think? Come on, put in the chat. I'm not seeing comments. What we got? What do y'all think? And listen, this episode is called Recognize the Signs, right? It's recognize the signs. Because if you can't recognize them, if you can't see them, if when they come your way, you're oblivious, like some of them I was oblivious to. I think I was looking for like these major things to happen. I don't know. But if you're oblivious, you're going to miss them. And when you miss them, they get repeated. And when they get repeated, then what's happening is your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever is becoming more and more powerful. They are pushing your boundaries further and further back. They're taking more and more control and power away from you and adding it to themselves. And the next thing you know, you wake up and you are in a full-out domestic violence situation, and you're thinking, how the hell did I get here? I remember thinking that myself. All right, so during the argument, they blocked the door. I'm real heavy on this one because I swear to you, from my perspective, a part of me wants to be like, red flag, red flag, red flag, right? Like I'm like, oh, that's it for me. That's it. That right there, now knowing what I know, you won't let me leave a room. You are going to try to what? What? So now what's after that? What you think is coming next? Huh? We gonna fight up in here? So if I go past you, you gonna what's gonna happen? So I'm stuck between these two on that one because I hate it all. All right, let me do another one. Your partner says you should give them all of your social media passwords. They demand it. Give me all your social media passwords. What's your thoughts on that one? You know what the cool thing is while you think about that? I did a speaking engagement on teen dating violence at Johnson C. Smith University about a year and a half ago. It was great. And I was talking to about 10 teenagers that were entering their freshman year. And I put that one out there. I said, you know, your boyfriend, your girlfriend says, give me all your social media passwords. You know, social media is a big deal for teens, especially. Give them all to me. And I had so many different responses. I had people like, well, I mean, if we trust each other, then what's the hide then? And then I had oh, hell no, I ain't giving you nothing. That's my social media. That's my Facebook. That's my Twitter. That's my IG account. What you need it for? It was across the gamut. And I have a strong opinion about this. So I'm looking for comments. Y'all not giving me any comments. It's 5 of y'all on here. Look, that's how you be calling people out. It's 5 of y'all on here. Can't one of y'all say something? But here's my opinion when it comes to that. My opinion is hell to the no. I'm not giving you any of my passwords, especially if you're demanding them. And why do you need them? This isn't about trust. This isn't about I should trust you or we should trust each other. The question is, why do you need them? Let's flip this around. Let's take me off the defensive, put me on the offensive. Why do you answer me? Why do you need my social media passwords? And let me tell y'all something else about why I feel so strongly. It's because of my experience. My experience was I went through this exact thing, where my social media passwords were, I don't remember giving them, but maybe I did. I don't remember the giving, but that's not the point. The point is, even when we were going through not speaking, it was at his worst. He would post things on social media like it was me on my behalf. Happy Father's Day, baby. I love you so much, like it was me saying that to him. I have experienced some of the most interesting things, and I know I'm not the only one, but I have a specific thing in my heart about social media passwords. Don't touch my stuff. No, I'm not giving it to you. It's not about trust. This is about why do you need them? This is about why do you need them and what are you looking for? What are you looking for, sir? That's me. All right, y'all know where I'm at with that. Next one. Uh, while you're away on travel for work, y'all ready? While you're away on travel for work, you beg to speak to your kids, but your partner, your spouse, your boyfriend won't let you. This is real stuff, y'all. I ain't even got to ask. That's a red flag. That's worse. That's already far into the situation. That's already into the abuse. You're already there. Just won't even let you talk to your kids. Yeah, that's a problem. Your partner often compares you to their ex. Hmm. This is an interesting one. I can tell you right now, it's not green. I can tell you that right now, it ain't green. What you compare me to the woman that you're not with anymore for? Where's she at? That's how you gotta say it, like from Philly. Where's she at? Y'all ain't together, so why are we discussing her? Hmm? That is a flag. That's a problem. You don't let anybody compare you. You define you. You say who you are. You don't have to worry about who somebody else is. And if she was that great and if she was that phenomenal, go have her. Go have him. Keep it moving. If you're missing something that was back there, go get it. Because I'm not trying to be who I'm not. I'm Angelique, and I'm only Angelique. And for whoever else you want and whatever else you need, go find it somewhere else. Because I'm not going to become what you used to have that ain't even with you no more. But I've been through that. Y'all hear me? That's a problem. Oh, well, so and so would have done it this way, and so would have never said or done that. Well, then maybe you should be back with so and so. Hmm. That's what I'm thinking. That's just me though. I'm just saying. All right, keep going. Someone you're dating says your outfit is too revealing and that you shouldn't wear it. This is kind of directed to women, right? Things to listen for. I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm good and grown. I can dress myself and I'm going to keep dressing myself every day. And what I wear is what I wear. And if you don't like it, that's really not my problem. And no, you don't have to buy my clothes. Don't buy me no purses. Don't buy me any. I don't need it. I know how to dress myself. I'm good. Thank you. All right. Here's one that's kind of obvious. Your partner pushed you into the wall, but then apologizes, saying they didn't mean to, and that it only happened because you made them angry. Your partner pushed you into the wall, but then apologizes, saying they didn't mean to, and that it only happened because you made them angry. Is that yellow? Is that red? Come on, where we at, y'all? I already know what I think. All day long. Run. Run. They pushed you into a wall because you made them angry? Nah. Let me tell you something. Tell you something about abusers. They ain't angry about nothing. They're not angry about anything. When people abuse, it's a choice. I say this every show because I want to make sure I understand. Abuse doesn't have anything to do with you or how angry they are or how upset you made them. Abusers are going to abuse because that's what they do. The entire time they were dating you, when they met you, they were deciding and figuring out and listening to everything you said to figure out where the cracks were in the dam, where your weaknesses were, where they figured they could push your boundaries, all those things they've been listening for. So when it comes down to them putting their hands on you, pushing you through a wall, and then saying you made them angry, they weren't angry about a thing. Like I said before, you could have made them their favorite breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. You could have sexed them up and down as good as possible. It doesn't matter. Abusers are going to abuse. It is a choice. It is power and control, period. And it happens to you, and then they get done with you, and they find the next one, and they do it to her. And before he's done with her, he's already set up the next one, and it goes on and on and on. And they got the nerve to marry these women when they have no good intentions for them. Believe me, I know. All right, I'll do a couple more. Your partner takes your debit cards and credit cards and makes purchases without your knowledge or consent all day long. That ain't yellow. That's a problem. That's a thief. That's a thief. They have stolen from you and they will do it again. And it's called financial abuse. Been through it. I told y'all on the last episode when I had Midori on the show that I used to take my purse and I would put my two phones in it because I had a work phone and a personal phone. I put my two phones in it. I put my wallet, but I used to take my debit cards and I would stick them and sleep inside, put them inside my bra. And then I would take my car keys and everything and I'll put it on my purse and I would sleep in bras every night with my purse on my shoulder every night to make sure that if at least if he came taking my stuff, I would at least wake up and know and have the opportunity to fight for it. Who does that? Who does that? Abusive, narcissistic. I have so many words that I will not say on this broadcast. All right. Someone you're dating gives you gifts, but demands sexual things in return. I just want y'all to understand that abuse does not look like you always think. It's not always a bloody nose or a big lip or a black eye. It's all these other things: sexual, spiritual, physical, emotional, psychological, all the gaslighting, all that stuff is real, y'all. I'm just trying to make sure you know. So let me say this because we're getting close to time. I'm going to read some of these to you, okay? Watch out for these things in your relationships. These are somewhat yellow and somewhat red flags. They're all mixed together, but watch out. Watch out for a person if they're manipulative, if they're playing games, or they're insincere. Go with your gut. Don't be in a relationship just because you want a hot body next to you during COVID. No, don't do it. If a person does not feel guilt or remorse, oh my goodness, that means anything that goes wrong is like, okay, and I ain't do that to you. That ain't my problem. No remorse. Stay away. They're very envious and jealous. Who was that you were talking to? That person? Who's that guy? Your friend from work? Yeah, right. Who is he? All that. All of that. Superficial, overly concerned with image because they're focused on themselves. They don't really care about you. It's not about you. It's that narcissistic personality. If you've never read about narcissism, please do. There is a ton of research out there about narcissism. Superficial and overly concerned with image, they'll do whatever they need to look one way in public, and they'll be a whole monster back at home. Trust me, I know. Regularly creates intense arguments. Are you listening? Regularly creates intense arguments. Makes you feel like you are walking on eggshells. Should I say something? Is he upset right now? I'm not going to say anything right now because if I do, well, let me not even go on that trip because if I ask him about the trip, he's probably not going to want me to go. And then that's going to be a whole argument. When you start doing that, oh no, it's no good. It's no good. Lacks empathy or compassion. That goes back to the no guilt and no remorse. It's all connected. Lacks empathy or compassion. Never apologizes or only apologizes to reel you back in. If I say sorry, she'll come back. I said it before. I did it to her before. She'll come back. Pay attention. Watch out for these signs. They insist that you are responsible for and need to resolve every issue and problem. It's your fault. The lights got cut off. Wait a minute, but I gave you the money to pay the bill. Well, you should have paid it. I'm saying silly stuff, but this stuff is real. Listen to me. I have experienced the water getting cut off, the lights almost getting cut off. I've experienced all of that. And y'all know me. I'm Little Miss. Check my finances. Got to make sure my 401k is proper. Make sure my budget is in place. I'm that person. Bills on automatic pay. And I went through the experience of like I was way back in my old Philly days, back on Price Street, struggling with electric bill and water and all that stuff. What? Yes. But they insist that it's your fault. Everything is your fault because they need you to be on the defensive. That's what abusers do. They got to keep you off balance by always making you responsible and always making you the problem. And then you begin to accept that. You begin to question yourself and you begin to question whether or not you even know how to think anymore. It's the craziest cycle. It is, but it's a real thing. Goes back and forth. Listen, goes back and forth between being nice and being distant or mean. This is the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde syndrome. Oh, I've been through it. Y'all still listening because y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Displays sneaky or insidious behavior. Yep. Mm-hmm. Projects their character flaws onto you. The stuff that's really going on with them, you a cheater. You're this, you're a liar, you're that. Listen, they're doing it. That's them. That's them. I promise you, that's them. Has an addiction. I mentioned this earlier. Sex, pornography, whatever it is, addictions. Pay attention to those. They are truly flags. Please. There's somebody who thinks they're never wrong. It's always you. They could be dead ass wrong. I like to say dead ass wrong. And they will find a way to make it your fault so that you accept it. So you're constantly questioning your own thinking, your own judgment, your own abilities. Often tells you that this one, I want to say this to all my ladies. This is especially for you guys. I saved it for last because I've been there and I remember actually saying, why do you do this? I actually said it out my mouth. Often tells you everything you're not before praising you for everything you are. They often tell you everything you're not. You're not this. You don't do that right. You didn't do this right. You ain't say that's right. You should all the things you're not before praising you for the gem, the queen, the diamond that you are. And I've been through that. And I know how amazing of a person I am. But when you're in love, so deeply in love with someone that you've built this trust and love with, and you believe they were your one, you will find yourself standing for things that you know you never stand for. Because they earned your trust, they spent all that time convincing you of who they were when they were never that person. And they've got you caught. And it's a rough thing to get out of, but recognize it for what it is. All right, so let me say a few things. We're near the end. I don't know. I haven't seen any comments. I haven't seen any statements or nothing. I'm so mad at y'all today. I wanted y'all to give me some interaction, but you know what? That's okay. Um, what I will do, let's see, because I'm looking for comments on all of them, but I don't see any comments on any of them, on any of the places I'm broadcasting from. All right, so closing. I said this earlier. The one thing abusers cannot stand is what? Come on, y'all. Y'all know this word by now? Time. They can't stand time because they only have so long that they can hide who they really are because it's all a facade. So take your time to watch for the yellows and the reds. Greens are good. Take your time so you have time to see the yellows and the reds, especially those yellows. And if you can make them wait, if you can slow them down, you will find out what you need to know because they can only hide their mess for so long. I promise you that. Now, I told you this last week. After I got out of my situation, a family friend, her name was Jack. She told me something that I'll never forget, and I'm probably going to say it for many episodes. I'll never forget it. I was like really caught up in saying, look what he did to me. He did this to me. He almost made me lose my entire career. I almost lost my house. He did this. He, him, him. And she stopped me and she said, Shorty, because Shorty's my nickname, y'all should know by now. Shorty, stop talking about what he did to you. It isn't about him. She said, put a paper bag over his face and focus on the personality. That's what we have got to get better at identifying: the personality, the behaviors, the yellows, the reds. We have got to. Do you have any idea how many times I put a paper bag over a brother's face so that I could pay attention to the personality and not the face? Because it ain't about the face, it's the personality that we all have to recognize. Absolutely, we do. All right. So pay attention to you. My final words: pay attention to you. Pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to that gut. Pay attention when you go, hmm, hmm. We all do that. Pay attention to that moment. Do you find yourself making excuses for them? Well, maybe he just did that because of this. Oh, no, no, no. Don't make excuses. Make him own that. Make him explain himself. Make him do it. Don't tell his story for him or decide what it is in your own mind to make it easy on yourself. And also ask yourself, am I not telling the people who are closest to me the truth about what's really going on in this relationship I have? If you're not telling the people closest to you the truth about what's going on in that relationship, call it a yellow flag right there. Call it a red flag right there. Call it, because it is. All right. It is 7:59. I appreciate you guys so much for staying on. Red flags, yellow flags, green flags. We have to understand them all. And the better you get at identifying them, the faster you get at identifying, the safer you will be. The better and the more likely you are to stay out of any kind of an abusive relationship or walk yourself into another, because women do it, men do it. They find themselves in multiple situations because they haven't gotten that thing down. That is a yellow flag. I ain't doing that. That's a red flag. I'm out. And that's how we have to be, that disciplined about being truthful about what we see. All right, it is 8 o'clock. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to post this. It'll be on my personal Facebook page. It'll be on my Ladder Masters group page. It'll also be on the Unique Blessings Facebook page as well. You guys are amazing. I love being here with you every single week. I ain't going nowhere. I'll be here next week. If there are topics you want to hear about, please do let me know, because I'm doing what I think I need to do. But you guys let me know if there's some things you want me to talk about, and I'll get right to them, or guests that you think I should have on this show. Thank you so much. I love you all. Please stay safe, stay courageous, all my courageous kings and queens. Stay safe, be strong, be encouraged, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.